The impeachment hearings began in the Senate yesterday, and we heard from the man who presented the motion in the County Assembly of Nairobi that this is the minority leader, the MCA. He came out and laid out the case that the county assembly had against and approved against the governor, and that is continuing today. While that was happening, also at the courts, Justice Nduma Nderi ruled yesterday that the governor should defend himself at the Senate, saying the court cannot be a theatre of settling an impeachment process that was duly executed by the county assembly in accordance with the law. This is after Governor Mutheu Sonko had moved to court seeking to block the Senate from commencing those impeachment hearings. Justice Nderi ruled that the law governing removal of a governor is very clear. What the county assembly did was in line with the constitution. He has not disclosed anything that the county assembly did outside the constitution to warrant the court's intervention. He said the concerns that Sonko was raising about mistrial by the county assembly will be addressed by the Senate, where he'll be granted a chance to defend himself. Huku hayo yakijiri, 57 Nairobi ward reps have sued over their hacked accounts. Remember, when the county assembly held its sittings, which approved this impeachment motion, there were some MCAs who were not in the house, and they allegedly joined virtually. Now, 57 of them, in a petition filed at the High Court, claimed that they were illegally indicated to have electronically voted when they were in fact in a hideout in Kwale County with the governor on the 3rd of December, and they had therefore no access to any electronic device to facilitate their virtual attendance. According to the MCAs, the impeachment was engineered and manipulated by powerful forces who used ICT personnel at the county assembly to hack into their accounts to manipulate the electronic voting system and use their credentials. They're using the lawyer Eliakim Owala, and they want the court to nullify the motion passed by the county assembly to oust the governor and to quash any decision reached by the Senate based on the motion presented to it by the county assembly. So they're saying, nope. You're saying that the 88 MCAs did this? 57 of them did not actually vote. Those votes were hacked by others. So whatever, now the county assembly, even if it goes to the Senate and the Senate approves this impeachment, please, courts, throw that out. So there's still some battle being fought in the courts, and the governor is presenting his own defense in the Senate. And we saw now what was happening yesterday in the Senate when, the county assembly now came up and we presented its case and said these are the reasons why we feel that the governor is not fit to conduct public or to hold public office or to conduct the affairs of the Nairobi County government as a chief executive. Drama upon drama.
Well, I mean, just looking at how this is unfolding, and then you hear that the pushback, the contention is, look, and it's on the process again, coming to how did this go about? What exactly was done to bring about the decisions that are made at this point? But it's interesting that even as these petitions are taken to court for a court to stop one thing or block the other, the process still continues. It still goes on that you had day one of these proceedings yesterday, and that certain things were said, different evidence brought out, different positions or situations being played out, taken, that the process continues. That even if the court may come about later and say, for one reason or another, certain process didn't take place as it should have, that the results of this then should be nullified. At this point at which we are at now, the process is still ongoing, and it's going to end today, right? Today will be the day now.
It's governed by law.
Yes, the law will still run its course. If the county assembly passes this, the speaker of the county assembly has a certain number of days within which to notify the speaker of the Senate. The speaker of the Senate has a certain number of days within which to inform the Senate, and the Senate has a certain number of days within which to determine this case. So it's governed by law. So you can, as this is happening in the court, these ones have to follow the law and continue the hearings. It still goes on.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, but then there's a little detail of the utterances of politicians. Phones being hacked, phones being dipped in water, phones being fried in oil, whatever it is. You see, this is where now the double speak that politicians favor catches up with you. Because people are more inclined to disbelieving anything you say. Even when it may be true. But the inclination is towards disbelieving it. and considering it something in the realm of a fairy tale or something in the realm of the happenings of some really wild imagination that somebody has. It is sad when we do not relate honesty directly with our politicians. And when we do not, in talking about politicians, we do not consider them to be the most honest of individuals.
Isn't it though?
Yes, and yet remember the decision-making process that we attribute to them and the functions that they do in representation of our needs is crucial. At whatever level of politician, it is crucial. It's a county level, it's crucial. In Parliament, it's crucial. In the Senate, it's crucial. And yet, we do not attribute honesty to be part and parcel of the discourse that involves these particular group of people.
Imagine. So, and this is a case where when somebody makes a false allegation, they should then be followed up to pay for it, right?
Yes.
If indeed the police, for example, should open up an investigation because the MCAs went and reported this to a local police station in Kwale. If police open up an investigation and they find out that there's nothing here that shows that the gadget that logged in to this system was not where you were. If it shows that this gadget that logged into this system on this day, at this time, is actually a gadget that was within the vicinity of the area where you are as a person, then you really have to explain how it is that this gadget that was used to log in was next to you, but it was not you who was logging in. It was hacked by somebody in IT. If police are unable to really verify that the allegations of hacking are real, then they should go to the person who made the allegation and say, come on, you lied, you wasted our time. Pay for that.
Exactly.
But
Pay
remember,
for that.
you know, the questions then that arise because of that particular element of disbelief or blanket belief in what is uttered by politicians is then what really did happen.
But the thing is that all this drama that you see is to shield people, not even shield, because shield will be protective, is to cover the eyes or pull the wool over the eyes of people from what really happened. Because only those who either voted or didn't vote, who were near their phones or were not, who went to the coast or were not, who went to Kwale County or were not, are the ones who actually know what happened. And you can see very clearly that it's either you were near your gadget, you voted, or you didn't, right? There's obviously something that was being done or still is being done till now to stop the rest of you from actually knowing the truth. Because the fact remains that nobody really wants anybody to know what really happened, because there's something that they're trying to protect. Somebody somewhere is trying to protect something. And that they would hope that the investigations would not go so deep as in to find out where were you really, or that police or any other kind of investigative officer would not trace back and then find the details as to what really happened. And you know for a fact that that's what they're trying to protect, because they don't want you to really know were they away or with their gadget at that time and did they or did they not vote.
No.
And you can go to anybody that they can go to anybody they want to and present whatever case, high court, lower courts, higher than high courts, to say that actually we were not there. Now, should it get to the point of investigation and that actually somebody finds out that you actually were in the vicinity of your gadget when you cast your vote, then okay, it's going to put you in a bit of a sticky pickle, right? It will. It will. But here we are, things are being said, and it throws everybody into a state of confusion. But what I like, the process is continuing.
You know, if we are now look at the allegations that were presented before the Senate yesterday by the County Assembly's lawyer, who is Ndwega Njiro. Ndwega Njiro is the same lawyer who represented the Kirinyaga County Assembly in the Senate. So those allegations, as were given by the first witness, Michael Ogada, who is the County Assembly minority leader, they included things like, where they were saying Sonko is too greedy to lead. The lawyer says, this house, the governor symbolizes greed and extravagance. This house should not have mercy on a greedy person. Impeachment is the price of failing to be accountable and transparent. So they're being told about how the Sonko allegedly misused conditional grants from a Kenya Roads Board of 622 million shillings meant for bursaries. Since Sonko became governor 3 years ago, the fuel levy fund has never been put to good use. Mr. Ogada, who was the mover of this motion, says as a result of Sonko's actions, the county government has never received money from the Kenya Roads Board. The representative said the bursary scheme was started by Evans Kidero when he was a governor. The program targets bright and orphaned students in Nairobi, where head teachers were being asked to pick 2 bright students from each of their secondary schools each year, and each would get 53,000 shillings annual fee. Now, he says, since Sonko came to the office, some bright students have consequently dropped out of school because they are not accessing this bursary money.
And there's evidence to...
And he was adducing evidence and affidavits on that front. Then he says that Sonko was requisitioning the bursary money, and instead of taking it to benefit students, he was using that money to pay lawyers. And he mentioned a number of lawyers here who received 8 million shillings. There's a law firm that received 30 million shillings. Another one received 68 million shillings. And another law firm got 80, and another one 83 million shillings. Okay, so he says the governor's daughter made a lavish trip to a conference in the US in 2018. Now, this is where it gets juicy. You know, we all love this juicy stuff. So, the senators were told that the governor's daughter made the trip disguised as an official of the county government. She reportedly flew first class, which was costing the taxpayer 840,000 shillings. Sonko's daughter was given 2.6 million shillings in allowances, while another 220,000 shillings was used to hire a helicopter to fly her around New York. Then she was flown to Philadelphia days later, where the Nairobi devolved government paid 120,000 shillings to take her around the city's attraction sites. A similar amount was paid to journalists who covered the trip, and 300,000 shillings was used for ground transport when she was in Philadelphia. These are some of the allegations that were brought. So he used county money to benefit his daughter and said that the daughter is an official of the county government, and where in actual sense she's not. So this is what they're saying. Okay, you see, this is the abuse of office. These are the things that the governor has done. These are the things that the county executive has been doing under the leadership of the governor. And for this reason, Mr. Speaker and all the senators, we urge you to uphold and impeach this gentleman and not let him set foot again in this office as governor of Nairobi. Big issues to talk about. Let's have this conversation with one of the members of the County Assembly of Nairobi, and this is Ms. Patricia Mutheu. Honorable Mutheu is the MCA for Mlango Kubwa ward in Nairobi. Washimua, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we are seeing the issue that's happening now in the Senate. It started off in the County Assembly. This is not the first time that there was a bid to oust the governor of the city, but this time round it went into the County Assembly. There was voting. Some members of the County Assembly were present in the House. Others are said to have logged in because the County Assembly has already agreed that some can join virtually due to this COVID-19 period. But soon after, we hear 57 of them saying, absolutely not. I am alleged to have logged in, but I did not participate in any of this. This goes to the Senate. Now we are seeing the ball playing out in the Senate. So there are a number of things that are at play here. First of all, the sitting in the County Assembly on the day that the governor was ousted at the County Assembly. How much do you know about that? Were you present yourself? Did you log in?
I wasn't present and I didn't log in. But I'm 100% sure there was no quorum. That was the required quorum to impeach the governor, because we need to have 82, three-quarter of the House. Yes.
Mweshima, just walk us through this. This voting process and the quorum. Are people representatives required to be physically present, or are there other mechanisms by which they can be represented? How exactly is this? How does this thing actually work out?
Ordinarily, they're supposed to be physically present, but because of the COVID, we were allowed to vote via Zoom.
Okay.
But for any governor to be ousted, we require 82 signatures to be appended, and also 82 people to put signature that he needs to go.
So if it's a Zoom, if you're following the avenue of a Zoom, then the process of appending signatures, how do you append your signatures online, or do you at some point need to actually physically go to the assembly to sign?
You have to do it physically. For the impeachment, you have to do it physically.
So you actually have to go and actually sign.
Yes.
And you're saying that these signatures
for the motion to be tabled, you have to sign physically.
Yes.
Yes.
So do I understand you to be saying therefore that for the process that actually meets the minimum threshold for this impeachment of the governor was not met because the quorum was not there?
Yeah, it wasn't met. And even yesterday, if you follow the proceedings, we had some of the members who actually swear that their signatures were forged. So again, we need thorough verification after the signatures have been appended, and this should be in like the clerk of Nairobi should help the House with that verifying the signatures, and that was not done. Yeah.
What is sort of like moving around in my head?
Yes.
It's again the issue of processes. So you physically go and sign. But even as you're signing, shouldn't there be someone who's verifying that the person who is signing is actually the person whose signature is actually being signed? I mean, does the verification begin after the event, or does it take place even as a signing? Yes.
Both. After you've signed, the clerk of Nairobi should take the list and again verify before the motion is tabled.
So by the time a motion has been tabled, then aren't we to assume that this verification process took place? So then why is it that after the fact, then we are hearing about this forgery of signatures? Not before.
Because, yes, I agree. Because there is an illegality. People signed physically. But when it came to tabling of the motion, we were cautioned not to step inside the assembly because of the COVID rules.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a bit of violation or, monkey business that was playing out. And that's why some of the members are they're too furious because their signatures were misused and they were ready to testify yesterday.
Would I trouble you to explain this monkey business that you mentioned? What, in your view, actually happened that constitutes what you've just referred to as monkey business? Because clearly something which is not straightforward took place. What was it?
It's probably forgery of signatures to table a motion that is not legit. And absolutely to table a motion that instead of leaders sitting down and coming up with a budget that benefits Nairobians, actually they're just something like who's going to win at the end of the day. If you don't do this, then I'm going to impeach you. If you don't do this, it's purely witch hunt. Like people say it in Swahili, ndovu mbili wakipigana ni nyasi inaumia. That is a classic scenario of that.
You said, Mheshimiwa, that you were 100% sure there was no quorum on the day this vote took place. What gives you that level of confidence?
Because I was with the 58 others who are in Shimba Hills.
All right. So these 58 who are in Shimba Hills, some of them are said to have logged in. Are you among those whose signature appears in the records as among those that participated in this vote?
No.
All right. So do we know for sure that the ones whose signatures appear or whose records show that they participated in this vote, can you for sure say that they did not log in at any time?
Yes.
How would you know that?
Because there was a live coverage as the Nairobi County was, and I think there's a clip on TV 47, and I can never discredit public media. So there was live coverage of what is going on in the assembly and what was going on in Shimba Hills. And people were just being, logged in, involuntarily logged in and out, until they attained the threshold. And then there was that announcement that came first from the speaker who said 52 have voted yes. 52 is not the required number of people who are needed to impeach the governor.
Just take us through how someone is able to log in. So as the MCA from Mlango Kubwa ward,
Yes.
Is there somewhere where you go to the county clerk's office and say, this is my email address, and these are my credentials, this is my password, and this is how I'll be able to log in? Or are you given a direct access where you can be sure that it's only going to be Patricia Mutheu who logs into the system to participate in the proceedings of the county assembly? How does that happen?
There's a link you send, and then you're required to just follow the link, and you're logged in. Use your email address and you're logged in.
Okay. And is this link
So
pre-sent?
I think there will be a lot of verification when it comes to, IP addresses, to which IP address was used, and if their phones were on.
So
Yeah,
if this-
definitely. That would be easy to clarify.
So it looks like we're going through the nitty gritty, but I guess that's what all of this is about, right? But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
if a link is sent to you, is this link pre-sent, or is this link sent at the time when voting is supposed to take place? Because if it's pre-sent, I could give my link to CT, for example, and say, look, when it's time, do
Log
1,
in.
2, 3 and log in. Even
Yeah,
if I'm
but
sitting,
this
even if I'm sitting next to you,
I
and it
agree.
would appear like
I
I'm
agree.
doing nothing, I could have given my link to somebody else, and they would log in and vote on my behalf. But it's showing as me.
Exactly. Yes. But for you to give someone else your link and your right to vote, again, it's violation of the people who elected you. So if you're going to do that, then you need to have sworn an affidavit that you've given the power to someone else to vote on your behalf.
Right.
And this must be accompanied by reasons. Because, listen, we're just joking with Nairobians' life. You're trying to impeach a governor who was elected. So there is no way I can give the power to vote him out or in to someone else. Honestly, I don't think it's fair, right?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I,
it doesn't make sense at all.
I just want to go back here and seek that clarification, Mheshimiwa. So Patricia Mutheu receives a link, and you're supposed
Yeah.
to log in.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to log in with a specific email address, or is it log in with any email address as long as you write your name there?
You
Patricia?
register with any email address. Actually, it asks you just log in your email. And you're in.
And this has happened
There is
not
no-
just with this sitting, but it happened with other sittings before.
Yeah.
So how can we verify that even in previous sittings, not alone this one, leave alone this one for impeachment, with other sittings
Yeah.
where people are discussing budget or other people are discussing other important matters of the county assembly, that it's actually the members of the county assembly of Nairobi who participated in that? Can we verify at all?
Where we're seated, I don't think you can verify. But definitely you can verify, because right now I've called you and you can see my face.
Right.
So that's another way of verification.
So in every sitting, someone's supposed to switch on their camera before they're admitted into a sitting. So are they,
No, it's optional.
has this matter ever been raised by members of the county assembly that, look, Mr. Speaker, you have told us that we can join virtually, but we don't know who is following these proceedings, whether they are participating in their capacity as a member of county assembly or whether they're just an imposter?
I'll be lying if I say it has ever been raised, but we've been pushing for physical meetings, even if it's a small number, but this hasn't happened. Yeah, and I'm thinking for critical procedure of impeaching governor, we should have enforced physical appearance if we're really serious with the lives of Nairobians.
Let me ask this question, because it's again moving around in my mind.
Yes.
What I seem to hear you saying is that it was determined by some individuals, whoever they are, that they want the elected governor of Nairobi County out of his job. And they've set
100%.
and they've set in motion a process. This is the thinking. Now,
Yes.
why would they want to do that? And after all, he was elected. Why on earth would they want to get rid of
Listen.
a popularly elected individual?
This is pure blackmail. And as a young leader, I got to politics to learn processes and see where we can change. And trust me, I think we're setting a very bad precedent. It has become more push and pull. Who has more power? If we don't do this, I'm going to do this. And I think it's not fair to Nairobians or to people who pay taxes to us. And you also have to come out and strongly condemn this. All these came because there was no rationalization of budget. and we were presented with 3 different budgets. And when the governor said he's not going to sign, then he was told, okay, fine. If you're not going to sign, then this is next. You get me?
Yeah.
So, in short, he was trying to protest. And we also, as leaders, we need to sit down and look at what are prioritization of Nairobians. Different people have different needs. And all those needs have to be covered in the Nairobi budget. If you tell someone from Mlango Kubwa that he needs cabros more than bursaries, then we'll be lying. So if that is not incorporated, then I will feel as their representative I've been violated. And this is what happened in this budget. There is no rationalization. There is no money for ECD. Look at the situation we're in. We require to have more classes because of social distancing. But this budget has been moved from that to go and do infrastructure in Nairobi city center. Is it fair? I think that is more of misplaced priority. We have bursaries. It's not incorporated. Every day we wake up, there is fires in all the slum areas. So the disaster money is not even there. So definitely, as a representative of Mlango Kubwa, I'll say no. Because my needs of my people will not be catered for. And when the governor actually says, no, we need to balance this, then he's, given something else. If you don't do this, we're going to do this. Come on.
But
think as leaders,
who determines the budget for the county? I thought it was the county assembly, and the process within the county.
We do. And that's why I told you, we had 3 different budgets. Different budgets.
By the same county, 3 different budgets.
By the same county. The budget that was read on the floor of the House is not the same that was presented to be signed. And it's not the same one that we supported. We have the budget that was read in the county, the floor of the House. We have the budget that was presented by the budget committee. And we have the budget that was presented to the governor.
Why 3 different budgets, Patricia? Why are we looking at 3 different budgets? One county, one thing that was said.
And that's why. Exactly. And that's why I'm telling you, there's a lot of monkey business. You get me? It's because as leaders, we're known of laxity. Maybe we will not follow up the nitty-gritties. Once you pass the budget, you actually entrust the committee to present the budget that we passed in the floor of the House, because it had catered for the need of all the Nairobians, all the 85 wards. But now the budget that is being presented to the governor, it's different from... You get me? And look, we had 4 transferred functions, which we fully support. But the budget that were presented to the governor had more functions moved to Nairobi Metropolitan that doesn't support, honestly, the need of the common Nairobian.
So how does this happen? If the county executive presents its budget proposal to the county assembly, the county assembly's committee sits and reviews and presents its report to the whole house. The whole house votes and either agrees or rejects. So we get to a point where the whole house has voted and passed this particular budget. Then it's upon the clerk and the speaker of the county assembly,
speaker and the committee,
to present that to the governor for official assent.
Yes.
So if what has been passed, and there are Hansard records in the county assembly that this is a document that was passed,
which they're there,
is not the one that ends up with the governor, who bears responsibility over that? Who's the overall officer who bears responsibility? Is it not the speaker?
It's the governor. It's the governor, and that's why he refused to sign the budget.
No, I'm saying who's responsible for presenting that erroneous budget to the governor?
It's the chairman of budget chairman.
Okay. So I would have expected to hear maybe members of the county assembly then saying that somebody has taken to the executive a budget that was not passed by this house, and therefore we need to take action against that member. We need to either censure that member. If it's a speaker of the county assembly, censure the speaker of the county assembly. So take action against the speaker, against the clerk, against the chair of the budget committee. Did that happen?
No, it didn't happen.
Why did it not happen?
Politics.
But that's what I thought the assembly is supposed to do. You're politicians.
Exactly, and that's what you're trying. That's what you're trying to do. That's why we had 58 protests that this is not the budget we passed. Okay,
So
but our
did those
views, our
58
needs have been, yes,
Did
have
those
been
58
disregarded.
present anything like a motion of censure, a motion to discuss this? Did any of you start that process? Because those are powers that are given to the county assembly, are
Yes,
they not?
yes, yes. And let me tell you, before a motion is brought into the floor of the assembly, the speaker must approve.
Yes.
Must approve. That process is there. And just because we were not satisfied with the budget, and then something else I wanted to highlight.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are only allowed to raise our budget by 1%. 1%. This budget was raised by 35%.
That's a very high
35%.
one.
It's very high. And that goes against the Public PFM Act. Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, this
And
committee.
these are the questions.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead, please. I apologize. Yes. Please go on with what you're saying.
Yeah, these are the questions we are asking our leaders. Like, we have the what do you call them, the house leadership. Okay, these are the questions we are asking them, because in every institution you have leadership. Definitely, you also report to your superiors, and your superiors, if they're not willing to listen to you, what do? Then you'll have a mild protest or a protest, and that's why 58 we decided to protest, because our leaders were not listening to us.
These committees that we speak of, they are made up of politicians and assembly members like yourself. Are they not?
Exactly. Yeah, they are.
And they're people you
retiring.
talk to. So when you ask
Also,
them what brought about the changes and who purportedly made the changes, what do they say?
vested interest, and they say they can't the vested interest, and it's supposed to be the way it is.
Whoa, this is high stakes drama that happens in the county assembly of
It
Nairobi.
is. Let me tell you, it is.
We're looking at the drama unfolding in the Nairobi City County government. The impeachment of Governor Mutheu Sonko has commenced in the Senate. The 57 members of the county assembly have gone to court saying that it is alleged that they participated in voting in the county assembly, and yet they did not. So they are saying that their accounts were hacked and other people voted alleging that they are the MCAs, and they are not. Some of those were in Shimba Hills in Kwale on the said day, and they were in fact sitting there with the governor and other supporters watching the proceedings live from the Nairobi County Assembly and wondering, what do you mean? I'm here. I have not logged in. I have not participated in this. And we are speaking with the MCA from Mlango Kubwa ward in Nairobi, Mheshimiwa Patricia Mutheu, to understand what has been happening in the County Assembly of Nairobi. So in fact, now she's telling us the issue of budget, which has been a very acrimonious issue. Budget was presented by the county executive to the county assembly. It was discussed and debated. There were some amendments that were put in by the budget committee of the county assembly. It was voted for in the county assembly. And then the budget that was presented to the governor is apparently not the one that was approved in the county assembly. That's one issue. There are very many other issues that are emerging in terms of how then the powers of the individual members of the county assembly vis-a-vis the leadership of the county assembly vis-a-vis other powers outside of the corridors and halls of the assembly of Nairobi. So Mheshimiwa, I'm listening to this and I'm wondering, are we saying that the county assembly members in Nairobi are actually powerless? That strings are pulled from elsewhere, that there's somebody else who has such immense power over the assembly that it doesn't matter what 57 of you or even 60 or 77 would think, that a decision that is not approved by the assembly will be passed?
There's this thing called party position, I don't know what, which really annoys me to the core. As much as we run using these parties, I don't think decision making should be partisan, or should be like the lives of Nairobians or Kenyans should be put in line of political parties. Because at the end of the day, before the political parties, we had the people. And the voice belongs to the people. But it gets to a point where you're told the party position. I'd like to refer to the Obado's case. That was a classic case of people's voice. Okay, this is our governor. Whether you have party position, this is what we want, and this is what we are comfortable with. And I think as much as I'm elected under a certain party, I should also be given that democracy to voice what my people want, not what the party wants.
You know what is truly unfortunate, Mheshimiwa, and I'm glad you brought it up, is that when it comes to party politics, this is a debate we can have until the cows come home, but which trumps the other? What you believe ought to be done or what your party requires you to do at a certain point in time?
The 58 decided to do what we are required to do, not what the party wants.
And you expect the party will just sit by and let you do what it is you want to do without there being some backlash?
There's always a backlash, and whatever is happening is a classic backlash.
Okay.
But sometimes you better leave standing than on your knees. It comes a point when we need to stop making selfish decisions and make decisions that actually befit the common Mwananchi. And I think we're ready to go to that. I'm ready as Mutheu to go that way.
So the claim is that this is all party politics, as per what you've said, and somebody is being sacrificed. At the same time, there are certain allegations that are being made, that have been brought forward in terms of what it is that the governor is said to have done or not done. Do any of these allegations have any weight from your point of view?
They have weight if proven. You get me? But yesterday, if you listened or watched the proceedings, most of them were just, what do you call it? I would like to say, like more, they were more hekaya. You did this, you didn't do that.
It's called conjecture.
There was nothing substantive, like, as to why this man needs to go home.
It's like they were looking very hard to find something that they could pin on.
It's like, you get me? And then the move of the motion was asked, were you paid to go to Dubai? Yes. Did you go? He was unable to answer. It took more than 10 minutes to say yes or no. And here you are accusing the other person of this appropriation of public funds. Clearly. Does it make sense? And that's what I'm saying. As Kenyans, you saw that.
Mheshimiwa, it makes sense. And let me give you the perspective that a Mwananchi who is listening understands, is that these are politicians fighting. Okay?
Thank you.
And it's coming out in the open, and they don't seem to have agreed on certain things. So we are being treated to this drama of politicians fighting, and it's gotten to the national level where now the fight has reached the level where they feel, let's play it out on the impeachment of the governor and see how this one goes.
Imagine. And then we use public as collateral. Doesn't make sense, and it's wrong.
Actually, for us, it does, because as the Wananchi, we often feel that it's something politicians do all the time. Mheshimiwa, I'm not saying it's something that you do. I'm saying...
No. Let me say, we need to come of age where we call a spade a spade.
Okay.
We also need a serious, positive public participation in this politics. Because let me tell you, as a Kenyan citizen, you are allowed to ask for any documentation from any public office because you pay us. And this nonsense you're taking you through, we shouldn't.
Now that you say you're new to politics and you're seeing what you're seeing, is this a field of endeavor you want to continue with, or do you want to choose another profession?
I will challenge you. There is no profession that doesn't need political goodwill. Kenya, it is the way it is right now because of choosing politicians who take politics as careers. We need leaders. We don't need politicians. And we need people like you who can reason out to get out there and seek for those positions. That's when we're going to change this country.
Mheshimiwa, are you inviting me to enter politics?
Yes. Not politics.
I expect you to say no.
To enter politics.
Leadership.
I am inviting you to enter leadership. I'm tired of politics. You know, before I used to do consultants. Actually, I used to work with Mutheu United. I'm a football fanatic. But I got into politics. Why? Because I wanted to learn the processes. And the more I get in, the more I want to compel people like you who have alternative career to get there into leadership because you are able to reason. Politics is not a family business that if your father was there, you have to go. Yeah, no, we need to get new blood so that we can share ideas. We need leaders, not politicians. It's so unfortunate we've been having politicians to leaders.
So what
And
is
you
it
know
that-
what? They determine the current economic status of everything, of this country. Is that what you need?
No, absolutely not. Mheshimiwa, I am very passionate when it comes especially to the quality of leadership in the assemblies, in the county assembly, in the National Assembly, in the Senate.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
say that, for example, what we have in the Nairobi County Assembly is not leadership, it is politicians, what would we need to do to ensure that we have better leadership in the County Assembly of Nairobi? So that then matters such as this one, matters as simple as a governor going to State House to sign off powers of the people of Nairobi to the national government without the prior consent of the County Assembly can be discussed. What would we need to do?
We need leaders. We need leaders. We need people like you to get out of your comfort zone, get out there, compete with those elective positions, come back, let's put our heads together, let's propel this country forward.
So
And
you're
those-
essentially saying that those who are there currently then should all leave because the job is not being done. Because
I
if
don't
you're
even
saying that there
say-
are others who need to come in and take up these
I'm not
positions,
even-
that means that
I'm
maybe
not
those who are sitting in these positions right now are not doing what they ought to do, so they shouldn't be there.
We are not. Are we? We are not. We're not giving you service for your taxes. Are we? No. If we were, we would have sat down and actually came up with a formulated way of sharing this revenue
Yep.
and all, provide leadership. In short, we should have provided leadership. What we're giving you people, it's pure politics, which is not fair.
My goodness, self-incrimination. You are actually telling us that the county assembly that represents us Nairobians has failed us.
We have leaders who have failed you. We have political parties who have failed us.
Yeah.
We have politicians who have failed us. But we still have leaders who are willing to push this through. And definitely, I know where you are. You even have office politics that sometimes you just feel the pain. You want to voice your voices, but you feel like you're crushed. True or false?
True.
True.
Exactly. So it's the same thing.
So what next, Mheshimiwa?
What next is, personally on my side, is as leaders, we should sit down and provide leadership and make this situation more bearable to the common mwananchi instead of engaging on all this Yulabaloo impeachment. And then after impeachment, then we're going to have a by-election. I don't think we even have money for all that. I think they should let the governor just finish his term because he was elected by 800,000 votes. Sit down with him. If there are adjustments that needs to be made, adjust the budget. Natusonge mbele. NMS gets the share of their transfer function. He gets the shares, the shared funds for the people who elected him. And we're all happy.
Mheshimiwa, I'd like to talk about the strategy that was deployed by the 59, were you 59 in Shimba Hills, Kwale?
58.
The 58 members of the County Assembly who were in Shimba Hills, Kwale, as the impeachment was being discussed in the County Assembly. So what was the strategy here? Was it to make sure that there's an abstention of 59 votes? Or was it to go ahead and then think how else can we make sure that we have better governance of Nairobi County?
This was pure protest that we're not party to what is happening. We don't agree into that.
Was there
And
not...
this is when
Was there an option of you appearing in the county assembly and, presenting
No.
that protest by directly voting against the impeachment?
Oh no, because we have the COVID regulation. One, so we were shut out. Two, the number of police who are deployed out there. Look for the clips. You think there was a riot. These are leaders. And you remember my incident just the other day. I was attacked in my place of work.
Yeah.
And you think they'll stop at anything? That is the Kenya we are living in.
But you could have logged in
And
for
you have to
whatever,
make it
like
better.
legitimately log in as Patricia Mutheu and vote no.
Trust me. The best thing was abstinence, whether you vote not. Look, I mean, if they could make people vote who are not there.
Your no could have become yes.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, so as you are sitting there and you are having this conversation, so you're protesting, you're saying we do not want to participate in this vote. The best way for us is to abstain. Why are you having a
Yeah.
conversation of what then you can do to make sure that Nairobi is being governed better? Was there any form of discussion like that, and what came out of it?
Definitely, Nairobi can be governed better if we have budget. And this budget is given back to the people who are giving us the budget. Governance is all about providing services and leadership to the people who elect you. That's why I actually wake up early in the morning to go put us in place, so that we can make sure we have good roads, street lighting, safety, if bursaries, ECDs. That's what you want. But if I'm denied that budget, what becomes of me as a legislator?
So that is all clear.
And then
in Shimba
this
Hills,
budget
Mheshimiwa,
is
did you
given-
discuss any of this?
Yes.
And what conclusion would we ask did you come to?
Conclusion: we need our budget back.
So are we saying
need
that,
our
okay,
budget
so you
back.
need it back. So now that means at some point
Yeah.
you had the budget. Can we see?
Yeah, we did.
Can we see a difference between when you actually, because you said what you need in order to get the job done, delivery of services to the people is
Yeah.
to have your budget, right?
Yeah.
So can we
Yeah.
say that at the
Oh.
time where this budget was in your hands, that these delivery of services was actually happening?
I
Nairobi.
love that question. Now, where I'm seated, my job as a legislator is to allocate the budget. Implementation belongs to someone else, and that is the executive. If the executive doesn't implement, as a legislator, I have the right to summon them to come to assembly and explain as to why we allocated XYZ amount of money and the road is not yet completed. I have that opportunity. But with the new agreement, I cannot summon anyone. My job is just to give budget and keep quiet, and then things are implemented. And then there is previous debt. So in Nairobi County, most of the time, we work on deficit. We have unpaid contractors. We have pending bills, which have really, really affected the implementation of projects in every ward. That's something that needs to be looked at. In short, tuko na deni mingi sana. As much as we are implementing this budget, we can only be able to implement very, very little. And we need goodwill from all the stakeholders.
Would you
So
support
those are the things. Yeah.
Would you support the
Would I
dissolution
support?
of the entire county government of Nairobi, both the assembly and the executive? Let's go back, let the people make a fresh choice.
I think I wouldn't want to comment. I still believe there is space for improvement. There's space for improvement. But we need to call a spade and prioritize what exactly Nairobi needs. Because there's a lot of misappropriation of funds from ABCD, and you can even say it from a national level. Yeah. So it's not only Nairobi.
Mheshimiwa, this paid, in a nutshell,
Yes.
what is it?
What?
This
spade.
that you want us to call a spade.
And not a big spoon.
It's basically we need active public participation, right? For instance, I'll ask you, have you ever participated in any public participation?
Have I
In
ever
your
participated in
ward.
any public participation? Yes,
Yeah.
freedom from hunger walk.
No, that is not public participation. Public participation is the world where your water bill comes to where you live and asks you, what improvements do you need? Do you need street lights? And have you ever done that?
Yes.
You have. Has
Yes.
he?
Have you, City?
Do they happen?
They
That
do
answers the
happen.
question.
So if you're saying,
Yes,
okay, so
they
if we're using those examples as examples, but
no,
let me give
they
you an
do happen.
example, and you say that if
And
that
this
is
is where
if that
I
is
am.
the solution to the problems that we are
Yeah.
facing now. For example, talking about
yeah.
public participation in my area, a high rise
Yes.
was coming up in the area, right?
Yes,
And in
yeah.
terms of going to the local MCA and saying, here are things that we are seeing happening, we know for a fact a high rise should not come up in this area unless certain objectives or certain objectives are met. If those things are
Yes.
not met, then this high rise cannot come in. Guess what? The high
Yes.
rise is close to completion now. The high-rise is close to completion. We did what we were supposed to do. We went and we said we object to this because 1, 2, 3 things are not supposed to happen. The high-rise is close to completion. The MCA in our area now is quiet. Public participation took place. So I don't necessarily seeing that as an end, a means to an end. For me, it doesn't mean that because now you participate as a public, that the job that is supposed to be done will be done.
Darling,
It doesn't
let me tell you,
translate.
there
It
is
doesn't
the MCA.
translate, unfortunately.
I know there is the MCA, and there is the MCA is just one person. You get me? It'll just highlight. We have the inspectorate and the people who are supposed to implement. And this is where we have to keep on fighting. We can't lose hope, because the moment we lose hope, we let in impunity and we let in corruption. We can't just lose hope. And this is why I'm also pleading with you people. I'm not going to lose hope, because I have to keep on fighting. And we should not keep quiet. If that hierarchy is there are other channels that needs to be explored. It's just a matter of, applying a bit of push. You get me? A bit of push and backing your MCA, because he cannot do the demolition. He'll just go maybe highlight into the relevant officials who are supposed to implement. Then guess what happens? Then there is NEMA, there's all this bureaucracy, faithless bureaucracy that public doesn't know. But all that backlash and heat comes back to us.
Yeah.
But we need you people. Today, I'm pleading to you, or I'm pleading to people of Mlango Kubwa. I need their backing. I need their numbers to say no. You get me? But if you let me do it alone, then definitely I'm not protected. I'm going to be a one-man army. And it's a high time we give back the power to the people. And I'm sorry about the high-rise. Okay, but it's something that needs to be explored, and it's something that needs to be highlighted. That we have so many avenues. We have social media, we have media that needs to be highlighted. That this structure is erected here you get me? We have to flow. Nothing comes easy.
That's very true.
So we can't lose hope. As a nation, we can't lose hope. We have to keep on pushing. We have to keep on pushing for our rights. Unfortunately, we have to.
Patricia Mutheu, the MCA from Mlango Kubwa ward in the Nairobi County, thank you very much for speaking to us and for highlighting what's happening in the county, the issues that are affecting the assembly, the executive in the county. As we watch what's happening in the Senate again today, we'll maybe call you soon to hear your verdict after the Senate delivers its own verdict.
And then about that high-rise, if she feels it's not supposed to be there, kindly, you can also help me and see if I can follow up.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Talk too much more.
So we're going to do it together and use all the media.
To push for it.
We have
Thanks,
to bring
Patricia.
power to the people. Yes.